My dear students, in today's video, let's talk about how to attempt a 70 to 80 marker English paper. There are certain things that you really need to be mindful of whenever you're doing an English paper, especially when you're preparing for your finals. So the first thing that you really need to be mindful of is to understand the paper pattern. You need to know how the paper is going to look like. So for an 80 marker or a 70 marker English exam, first you have two reading comprehensions. One is going to be poetry for sure and one is going to be a prose. So try and practice more of those questions. Then when you move on to the writing task, you'll get two of writing tasks, 5 marks each. When you talk about the other aspects, which is the grammar, you'll get near to 3 to 4 questions where each question will have certain subparts, and that's going to be 1 mark or half a mark each, and it will usually be fill-ups or conversions. Then when you move on to literary text, you need to practice RTCs. There's going to be an RTC, then there's going to be 2 long question and answers, which would be close to 3 marks or 5 marks, and then you'll have 2 questions for 1.5 mark each. So it is very important that when you are doing your literary texts, try and practice more of answering the questions and be very reasonable with your answers. That is something which will definitely help you. The next thing that you need to be mindful of is do not leave any question. When you're attempting your paper, try and attempt all the questions. See, English is a very creative subject, and a lot of times if you are writing close to the topics, there is a chance that you might score marks. So try and fetch those marks. There's no point leaving the question unattempted. Then the third thing is time management. Students' English papers are usually very lengthy, so it is very important that you're mindful of time and you're completing the paper within the time span. So the trick that I usually used was that when we had the reading time, I would try and read the passage twice. I would not go through the entire paper. I would utilize the reading time to complete my reading comprehension so that I'm saving time. And especially when I was doing writing skills, I used to have a look at my watch and I would give exactly 5 to 6 minutes for one writing skill question. So yeah, I hope these certain ideas help you to attempt your paper well, and do let me know were they even helpful or not. If you have any further suggestions, you can contact me or converse with me in the comment section. Thank you, students. A very best of luck for your exams. Thanks.